This is Rufus, and like Jack, Rufus has got type 1 diabetes. This video is intended just to give an explanation of how to inject insulin into Rufus using an iPort. Like Jack, Rufus has got an iPort which is attached to the top of his buttock. The iPort is in effect a cannula that we change every 3 days at home, and that's just mounted there. So when we inject insulin into Jack and Rufus, we inject it into the iPort instead of into the flesh itself, and that way it doesn't cause any pain or discomfort to him. So right in the centre of the iPort there is a small grey rubber bung, and that's where we're going to inject into. So what we need to do is we've already worked out the carbohydrates in the meal that we're about to have, and we've checked the blood glucose level and input the carbs into the machine, and then that will tell us how many units to administer. So that's already worked out. So we get the insulin pen. This is Jack's pen here. It's a NovoPen Echo. This particular one's blue, but they do come in all different colours. So the pen itself. So the lid just comes off. Here is the insulin cartridge, and you can see there the end of the plunger is here. So this remaining part is the insulin. So there's plenty of insulin in that. Also on the pen is the little window there, the dial that is the display to see how many units. On the end of the pen here is the dial that you rotate in order to set the units. At the moment the dial is pushed in, it clicks out slightly and then allows us to make adjustments to that so that we can set how many units we want to administer. The first thing we need to do is to prime the pen just so that we know the pen is working. So in order to do that, we get a needle. This is a brand new one, still sealed up. Remove the foil and then push the needle onto the end and then just screw it on. When you get it out the packet, there's two safety caps itself on. So the first safety cap we remove, and then the second one, and then very, very difficult to see on this video, there's a very small fine needle just there. Okay, so we've removed both safety caps, and the first thing we need to do is to prime the device. So we pull the dial out on the end and set that to 2, and then we get a piece of tissue or a piece of cotton wool. With it set at 2, then we depress the button on the end, and just the 2 units will come out of the needle, and we can just see that, and obviously then we know that the pen is working. There's no blockage at all in the needle itself, and everything's working correctly. So then for the purposes of this video, we'll give 3.5 units. So we pull the dial back out and turn the dial to 3, and then one further click, which is 3.5. And then we're ready to administer the insulin into the iPort. So we need to put the needle in at 90 degrees so that it's going in straight, and we're going right into the centre of that rubber bung with the needle. So if you get it into position and then push it in, I'm just feeling a bit of resistance there and a little scrape on the needle. So I'm not quite in the centre, or I'm in a slight angle. So I'll just pull the needle back out and just try again. There we go. So now that there was no scraping at all there, so I know that I'm in straight and I'm in the centre, and the needle is all the way in, it won't go in any further. So then I depress the button on the end and count to 10. Okay, to remove the needle, I just hold on to the iPort itself, pull the needle straight out. Sometimes you'll just get a small tiny bit of insulin that just leaks back out. If that's the case, give it a wipe off, and that's the insulin administered. So the needle now needs removing and disposing of appropriately. So we've got the 2 safety caps that we took off initially, the big one and the small one. Please don't try to put this one back on, the little one, because the likelihood is that you're going to end up sticking the needle in your finger. So the small one into the sharps box and disposed of. So we reapply the cap to the end, just push that on and then unscrew the cap. And that should bring the needle with it. If you look just in the end here, the other end, the reverse side of the needle is just exposed slightly. So please don't push on the end there, because potentially you're going to finger prick. So the needle's removed, and then that again disposed of in the sharps box, and that's out of the way there. So all we need to do now, the end cap is pushed back in because we've just administered the insulin. So cap goes back on the pen, and we're done.